this. Oh man. What we would do is basically go over our analysis for the week, our swing trading ideas. So we'll break down some charts. It is recorded, so you guys can go afterwards and take a look. And pretty much what we follow here is the swing trading strategy that we've been pretty much doing for 2 or 3 years now. First time from Florida. What's up, Trey? I'm actually in Florida too. So we're gonna run through the strategy, show you guys how we kind of break things down. And then what I would suggest all you guys do is take the analysis. It is posted inside of Telegram and Discord. Just take the analysis, compare it to your own, maybe even do a breakdown alongside ours. And then for the week, just kind of line it up, watch how everything plays out, use it for like your overall structure and everything. Just kind of use it as a guide, especially if you guys are like beginners. If you guys are more advanced, come through, ask questions, maybe even share some of your analysis as well. So we got Puerto Rico, Alabama. So we got people from all over. So yeah, that being said, we could pretty much just get into it. Nick normally goes first. He runs through everything that he's looking at, and then I'll cover at the end some of the major pairs. And at the end of the call, we are going to be doing a kind of promotion on the membership and everything. So I'm going to go over that sort of at the end of the call for people that are new, that don't really know what's going on, inside the Telegram and all that. So let's pretty much get into it.
Awesome. Yeah, let's kick it off. So as Angelo said, I'm going to cover quite a few pairs here, DXY through gold on the chart. And we're going to start off with DXY. Okay, so we don't actually trade DXY. We more or less use this as an indicator, and it actually plays a pretty big part in our strategy, right? We're trend traders. We like to follow what the market is doing. We're trying to ride those trends. That's where the largest moves and the highest probability is going to be. So by analyzing DXY, it makes up for, about 80% of all trade. It has a huge influence on the rest of the market. So if you see a heavy trend step in this scenario here, very bullish on the daily, you'll see a lot of the market start to react based on that. So where we're going to start off with on the daily, and all we're grabbing from here is the overall trend. Then we're going to drop to the 4-hour, and I'm going to cover the 2 most likely scenarios based on where price action is. Okay, so it's not actually forecasting, but we are highlighting, pretty much unbiased scenarios. So both bullish and bearish. Okay, so overall, we're very bullish here. We just broke above 93.8 resistance. Testing it now, we got a higher low there, so it's definitely confirmed. So let's move to the 4-hour and get a closer look at those 2 scenarios. Okay, and again, these are the highest probability scenarios, and the ones that we would like to see for us to enter or to confirm, trends on this particular pair. So overall, let's see, we're bullish here on the 4-hour as well. Here's that 93.8 area. We broke above that, found some resistance up here, but then we started consolidating. So essentially, we're bouncing between these 2 zones. So we'd like to see that to end. Ideally, it's going to continue with the trend. So we're looking for it to kind of push through this pattern and through resistance. And then, we can confirm it up here once we see some strong candle closure. And then we're off to a new high here on the 4-hour. So that would be a perfect continuation. Now, we definitely could consolidate, continue to bounce, but then that would mean these 2 trade scenarios are still valid, as that's what we're expecting, right? Either it's going to continue higher or it's going to drop lower, give us some lower highs and start pushing lower towards support levels. Okay, and that's exactly what we would need to see for us to consider this bearish again. A break below 93.8, lower high, nice bearish setups to then confirm and then continue down towards the next level. All right, so that's DXY. So let's take that information, jump over to AU, first tradable pair, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Jump to the daily time frame, assess the trend, and then go to the 4-hour and cover those 2 same scenarios. Okay, so here we're overall bearish. Pretty strong bearish trend. We've been breaking through major support levels, just following strong characteristics of a bearish trend, lower lows, lower highs. Nice strong resistance level right here at 0.74. That's kind of the main level. That's kind of held this trend as bearish. And then 0.72 has kind of held this bit of price action as support here. So that's interesting. 0.72, very strong level. We are definitely near that now. We're seeing some consolidation, so that's good. But overall bearish. So let's go to the 4-hour now. Get a closer look. So this is actually playing out to be pretty clean. So definitely bearish here on the 4-hour leading up to this point, right? Nice range here, multiple tests on each side of the market. But then we saw a nice transition when price action broke through 0.73. Okay, nice rally, good cross there, broke resistance, got above the 200, pulled back, confirmed this level as support, and now it's consolidating a little bit. You know, I definitely would like to see more bullish volume, kind of just continuing with that type of conviction that we saw that broke the zone. So this is still valid. I like to see this push up pretty early in the week, nice strong setups, and then we'll target 0.74. So there could be a nice long opportunity here pretty soon. But again, it's got to follow through. We got to see those confirming setups. And yeah, it's got to be convincing enough for us to get in. Okay. That would be a good risk to reward. Stop loss would be just below 0.73, targeting about 100 pips to the upside. So definitely 2 to 1 at least. Okay, so what's the opposite here? It falls back into the range. Let's say this is a bit of a fake out. We just continue to consolidate until ultimately breaking support. We get the lower high. You could enter short there. I don't particularly like trading ranges, but this would be a decent opportunity down towards 0.72. And then we would reanalyze at that point, and we'd be looking for, 2 new setups, either a break or bounce into the next week. Okay, but yeah, this is where we're at now. Pretty close to some setups, to some bullish setups here. Could be seeing a nice entry soon. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. Let's move over to AJ. It's going to be pretty similar here on AJ, as AU and AJ usually are pretty correlated. I do like to say that AJ has a little bit more volume, as you'll see kind of more dramatic swings. But let's just start back on the daily, see what the overall trend is. Okay, definitely bearish. We can see there was a nice transition of this weekly. Again, strong characteristics of a bearish trend. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And then this level is kind of held as resistance. And then we've seen, a support level down here at, this is actually supposed to be 79. Fix that. There we go. 79 as support. Okay, so still overall bearish, although we are pushing towards a new high now, but I'd like to see this confirmed because this could, pull right back down, be a fake, could be a bit of a fake out. So it's going to take a little while for this daily to confirm bullish. So let's get a closer look at the 4-hour and still technically consider this bearish. Let's see what the 4-hour has for us. Any more information we could find here. Okay, so we've actually been bouncing between these two levels. Resistance near 82.2, support at 79. Very dramatic swings. These are nice trends here. You could obviously see this as a pretty good channel. If I threw some trend lines on here, you guys could just visually see that. Nice strong channel to the downside. Okay, good representation there. And then same for the upside, right? Nice channel. Good bullish momentum. So we really want to see how it reacts at 82.2. For me, based on this time frame, I would consider this a bit overextended. Not quite sold on this yet. I want to see this kind of pull back, see the high or low, and then enter along on that. Okay, but I'm not quite convinced. This could obviously just pull right back and start falling again. So we'll see. I'm going to see how it reacts at 82.2. Definitely going to be patient on this one. But if we were to consider this bearish, the first thing you want to see is that 4-hour transition. So that'd mean a break back below 81.4. Nice lower high for the retest, and then we'll target down towards the next support level. Okay, so not the cleanest setup here on AJ. Not too much room to run, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. I think AU would definitely be a better option over AJ this week. But yeah, we'll see how the TA plays out. All right, so next is UJ, daily time frame, grabbing the trend. Overall bullish, right? Very bullish. And this has been a pretty steady trend here. A little bit choppy, but still pretty much overall bullish. We had a nice rally through 111.5 right here. Nice little retest. This is definitely a higher low for structure, and then pushing back through that level. Okay, so that's the type of conviction you want to see to break through a level. This is a strong trend here, but it just, didn't have the momentum to break through. This is definitely what you want to see. Nice clear break of that level, pull back, retest, and then continuation. So let's go to the 4-hour, see what setups we got going into this week. Square this up a little bit. Okay. All right. There we go. So again, look how extended this is, right? Real nice rally, pulled back, gave us a nice higher low, and then pushed it back through 111.5. So at this point, we want to see what we haven't seen yet, a higher low above 111.5. This was a little deep. This was a little deep for a pullback, but it definitely proved itself here as well when we got a nice higher low. But again, not the cleanest setups. So I'd like to see a nice higher low above 111.5. And then just a continuation up to the monthly level near 113. And so that's pretty straightforward. Just a nice pullback, see a nice reversal, and then we'll target that level. Okay, but if this does fail to push higher, we'll just look for the break of 111.5 with the lower high below. And then this actually has quite a bit of room to drop. I mean, there are minor levels along the way, but technically it could drop all the way to 110.3. Back where we saw this resistance level break over here. So definitely one of our targets. But yeah, we'll see. I like the momentum that's coming out of this. Good volume here. These are some pretty large candles. So it'd be nice to see that kind of continue into this week. Yeah, that'd be a nice outlook for the dollar there. Pretty bullish. All right, so that's UJ. And again, guys, as Angelo said in the beginning, these are like active charts. So they're posted in Telegram and in Discord. So you can actually click on them and there's like a play button. If you're not familiar with TradingView, it's a play button and it'll show you, price action from now until whenever you look at it throughout the week. Wednesday, Thursday, you can just see which trade path price action follows. And they're pretty accurate. I mean, I would say between 60-70% of the time, one of these trade paths play out in the week. All right, so that's UJ. Let's move over to EJ. So this one's interesting. I did something different here for a visual, but I'll get to that in a second. Daily time frame, overall bearish. Okay, very, very clear over here. Super bullish. Nice reversal right around this weekly zone, and that was the transition there. Boom, price action drops. We got a lower low, retest of that level, confirm lower high, and then that officially from that point, we're bearish here on the daily, and then we've been since that point, which is good. But then we have, obviously an increase in volume. We have some very large swings happening now, but we're also getting lower highs and then higher lows. So that means price action is consolidating. This volume is kind of dying down. And then we could, better discover where price action is going to go, and then we're going to find these trade paths to be a little more accurate. So let's get into that on the 4-hour. The overall bearish though. All right, so right, this is obviously a higher high here, but if you're looking at these, these swing points, this is a lower high in comparison to this. This is a higher low. This is a higher low here. So that means this is kind of narrowing. We're getting price action to consolidate a little bit more. It could just continue to range because the thing with EJ, I do say this a lot, but it's definitely important. But every time EJ kind of picks a direction, it really sticks to it. So if it's trending, let's go to the daily to better represent that. If it's trending, it's going to trend for a while. So very dramatic, rallies. If it's going to consolidate, it consolidates for a very long time, right? Very, very dramatic here on EJ. So if we do consolidate, it could be for a while. We could see this type of formation continue for the next week or so, but we'll see. That's why we analyze. That's why we try and follow the market and come up with multiple scenarios for you guys, so that you know exactly what could happen and what the potential is for the week. Okay, so if this does continue, the likely scenario, the most likely scenario, is that price action will kind of reverse right here, establish a lower high, and then start to range between 130 more strictly. Like these are more or less fake outs. That's what these X's represent. So price action attempted this level, broke above, but failed to get a higher low. Same down here, tried to break. This more or less was just this is like an inverse head and shoulders just beyond 128. It didn't really give us a nice lower high and then a continuation, because this is in itself a reversal pattern. So that's why this is considered a fake out. Same with here, not a real higher low above this level, just a nice fake out there. And then again here, just look closely, guys, at this level. Not a confirmed lower high, right? We didn't get those bearish, like it retested, but then we didn't get the strong bearish setups to follow that confirm that as a lower high. So no bearish variations were there. And then again over here, same thing, didn't get the lower high. So both fake outs there. So this seems to be the pattern. we could get some wicks to the upside, but it would just come back down and then range between 130, 128.9. So that's just the most likely scenario, okay, based on what we've seen. It doesn't mean that it can't break above here, confirm that higher low finally above 130, and then continue to the upside. It's definitely a possibility, but we'll have to wait for that. Based on where we're at now, price action is below resistance, so technically this is closer to happening, and just the most likely. So that's what these two scenarios represent. All right, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how 130 holds up. We did gap a little bit, so not a great sign. Gap down, but not a great sign. So we'll see. So we're going to hold off on EJ for a little bit. Let's move over to gold. So gold, I actually only have bearish setups because it's just so dominantly bearish right now. And pretty much as long as it remains below 1800, we're still pretty much bearish. We could see, nice swings to the downside at pretty much any moment. So let's just jump to the daily here. Obviously, again, as we just said, bearish. We're seeing lower lows, lower highs, nice test of structure as resistance, and then, moves lower. So let's get a closer look on the 4-hour and see what potential setups we could have for this week. Okay, so here's that 1800 level. Nice, strong resistance level. That was broken back here, right? Price action dropped all the way to 1740, pulled back, retested perfectly at that broken structure. And now we've been, kind of trending lower. Over here was a nice 4-hour bearish trend, but then price action pulled back, and now we're moving sideways. Just strict consolidation, pretty much between, just dead even between these two zones for the most part. So ideally, we'd like to see this continue lower. So I'd want to see this range break bearishly along with 1740 and a nice lower high below. So this is the pretty much safest scenario possible for gold if it were to play out this way. And it's also looking pretty likely. Just have to see it, go for one more lower low. Nice continuation of this trend, and also the daily. Now, this is a very strong bearish trend right here, and this would be a nice target that we've actually seen tested multiple times in the past. All right, so that's gold. I'm not going to consider a bullish scenario because, again, if this does push up on the 4-hour a little more, I'm going to get another chance to reanalyze this, guys, for you. And pretty much as long as we're below 1800, again, we're bearish. So it would take a lot. It would really take a lot. This is what would need to happen. We'd first need to get the swing to the upside. And then we need to see the break of 1800 with a higher low above. Okay, so that's really far from happening. That's just a very strong continuation of the 4-hour, and then that's actually a transition of the daily as well at this 1800 level. So that, that's probably a next week opportunity if we do get up to 1800 this week. But again, we'll see. So that's why I didn't include that. But yeah, we'll see how this week plays out. But that's actually the last pair I have for you guys. So quick recap: covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. All right, so Angela's going to cover a few more. But yeah, guys, as we said, active charts, definitely utilize these. Super, helpful if you're an early trader or if you're just, kind of looking for some guidance. All right, so yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, I'm going to go ahead, jump into some of the major pairs here. Let's see.
Oh, nice.
Check this. What screen are you seeing? You see my chart?
Yep. Do you?
All right. Yeah, we will post the recording after for someone that message in there. So let's take a look. Let's get started at GU. So I haven't had some time today to actually do my breakdowns prior. So we're kind of going to break these down together live right now. I was doing a little bit of traveling today. So definitely, trying to get my analysis ready for the week. So we're going to run through it right now. We'll start off with GU. I always go ahead and just kind of clear things up from the previous week. Normally take the weekend off, don't really look at charts much, and then come back Sunday during the day and then just kind of look at everything and kind of have like a very unbiased view of what's going on. But on GU, I can tell you this, over the last like couple months, obviously been following this thing for the entire duration of all of these moves on every Sunday market blitz. I have my head and shoulders pattern here. So pretty much for those that don't know what head and shoulders are, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, when you see the break, looking for the retest to go short. So this is overall in a very bearish trend right here. And 2 weeks ago formed this dip to the downside with this long wick. And this was actually, let's take a look. This was actually a like 1% wick, so 125 pip wick. So obviously it's a lot of rejection to the downside. If we just zoom out, we can clearly see here that this level of resistance is major at the 1.33500 level, right around that area. Not exactly that price, but again, right around that zone. You can see up here at like 1.34. That's really where we dip down and have that rejection. So we are basically on a retracement. I'm looking for a couple things on the weekly time frame, looking where are my key levels. I have them marked up here and up here. So we haven't exactly made it all the way down there. I am anticipating some more downward movement, especially how this is starting to form right now. Last week did form this reversal candle, the spinning top. So, it could be likely that this starts to push to the upside. And remember, we have all this room here for this thing to actually push. So price could move, let's see. Price could move really all the way up to this level right here. This is the previous low that had been broken right here. Originally, we were looking to see how price reacted to this resistance level. Obviously, at this point, that is broken. So this is the next kind of previous low that we'd look to get retested and then potentially to take some shorts at. I'm just going to mark this down and change this up. So let's go down to the lower time frame with this in mind that we are overall bearish, but we're in this retracement. We have this kind of breakdown of structure on the lower time frame. If we go down to the 4 hour overall, we can see that we are in a downtrend. We're forming this low, this lower high, this low. But at this point now, we just formed this higher low point right here. So price is starting to form some bullish structure. If we just come on, and I'll just map this out for you guys at this little lower high. And then this is when we started to get some reversal, our first higher low right here. We had this area kind of all tested right here, and then price is now making its way potentially back to the upside. So the best area that I would look for sells is going to be back up in this 1.37 area. I think until we get up to that level, price could continue to form these like higher lows right here, these higher highs and higher lows. I wouldn't take any sells unless we get some sort of break of support. So these are pretty much the two scenarios that I'm going to map out for GU. Either we're going to get this break and retest and then shoot to the downside. And remember, for guys that have been in here, price is not going to just shoot down 100 pips. I mean, this obviously did right here, but normally it's going to form some structure. It's going to form some lower highs and lower lows. So this is more we would be looking for here if price does start to break down and move to the downside. Now, I'm just going to pop over to DXY really quickly just to take a look at this and see what's going on here. So let's bump up to the weekly. All right, so DXY is back in this resistance level. We had a doji candle form last week. So it is kind of likely that DXY would reverse. It is bullish, but it is at a resistance level right now. So it would have to definitely make its way above the resistance level to actually be broken to head higher. And this is telling me that price could potentially reverse. Look at the 4 hour time frame. We had pushed down, had this higher low form, pushed up. Now we're kind of testing this new higher low that had formed right here. And if we hold below this level, then price could just start to kind of trend to the downside here. So let's map this out. Let's bump up again to the weekly. So we have a lot of room here where price could come down and cover this candle before we actually retest this previous higher high. So if DXY is going to reverse and be bearish, let's go back to GU. So if the dollar is going to be losing strength and we're looking at GU here, then obviously if the dollar is going to be gaining strength, it'd be likely that GU reverses and pushes to the downside. But if the dollar is going to be losing strength, then GBP, Great British Pound, most likely will be gaining strength against that. And that would support kind of our first idea here where price comes down. Doesn't even need to really retest down here, but where it potentially comes down and then continues to form this bullish structure all the way until we get back up into this main kind of higher low that we have up here. So when would I actually get in on a trade on GU right now? Well, honestly, one area that we could have gotten on a trade is definitely where price currently is right now. I mean, if this closes, this is a morning star candle, so it's going to be a bullish, obviously bullish signal. If you were to take this trade here, you'd probably put your stops right around this area. And again, the targets are going to be up here for like a little bit of this definitely would be a swing trade getting up to here. Let's see this. So this is one potential idea would just be to literally long right there. Another idea would be to just wait for the actual break of the resistance. So once this broke and then retested, that's when you would potentially get in. The reason why I'm drawing these like dips like this, because again, price is most likely not going to just shoot up to this level. It's going to most likely form another higher high, another higher low. But these are two scenarios with GU. So if you guys are wondering how to trade GU for the week, basically either wait for the break of support and then look for the retest and short, or you could obviously short it upon the break. You know, that's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more risky. Or again, wait for this thing to do a break and retest to the upside, or take that long opportunity right here. So let's see, maybe a trend line to confirm bearish or bullish. Yeah, I don't personally use trend lines much because they're just very subjective. You can draw a trend line like 10,000 ways, right?
Yep.
So, you know, obviously, if we kind of zoom out here, you know, entirely, we can definitely see the trend is certainly very bearish. Let's bring this on here.
Yeah, trend lines are good, more so for like a visual aid, like to highlight a channel or something, or maybe like a confluence area as an optional confirmation, but don't live or die by them. You'll often notice that, you know, you'll get a false signal or it's not like the true break of something. You know, signals are, I mean, trend lines are good, but to an extent, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say like, for me, it's just sometimes they become relevant. I like to draw them on the weekly. I like to see them break momentum. Like right here, I can kind of see like there's definitely a bullish trend. We could draw this again, like pretty much 3 different ways just looking at this. We can draw it from that as our point A. We can draw it from here as our point A. And then we can see, you know, we're just looking, like I mainly use trend lines to look at breaks of momentum, right? So clearly this is showing us
Yep.
momentum's overall kind of breaking down, but we can more just look at structure here and start to see that personally without having to really draw a trend line there. But yeah, definitely can draw a trend line if that's like a TA tool that you like to use. Let's see this. Yeah, I like to kind of just stick to these, you know, where the bodies of the candles close. To me, it's more definitive answer as to where price is really stopping and starting in the market. I mean, you can't subjectively, you know, these things don't move. It's not you drawing them. You know what I mean? So that's GU. Let's pop over to NU. We're kind of in the same trade that we went over last week. Let's just start up, move up to the weekly time frame. I was going crazy drawing. All right. Weekly time frame. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So this is interesting. Last week, before I had obviously all this happened, let's just go back. Pretty much we were expecting some sort of reversal. We had dipped down and actually retested our key level. So this 68800 level, we had retested. We can clearly see its support, resistance, all in this area, support, all in this area, even zoom back, support, support, support. So this is a huge level right here that price dipped down into. Now, going into last week, I was expecting price to move up and potentially continue this trend to the downside, because look at the 4-hour time frame, certainly very bearish. We had drawn our Fibonacci on here. We went over structure, everything like that. Pretty much this was the area we're looking for price to come up to retest 78.6, previous support, 2 confirmations, and kind of look for that 3rd rejection. But as we could see, price came up, retested that level. We got that kind of double top, in that area and push to the downside. And now we're starting to see price reject this support level again. So to me, I mean, this is something that definitely should be not like considered not lightly, that the fact that it came back into the key level and then rejected it again, and now we're pushing the upside. This isn't the strongest like trend here. If anything, this is kind of just like a retracement again, and price could continue to push to the downside. But we have some new structure here. So let's go ahead and just delete all of this, because I like to just, like I said, clear everything up and kind of have a new perspective for the week. So let's clean all of this up. Pretty much just looking at this, if we want to bring on these training wheels, people that don't know how to draw structure very well, I'd advise to go to this path tool, bring on here, draw some lower lows, lower highs, just overall see where things are at. And then if you're still confused as to what's going on, obviously hasn't happened yet, then just come on here, hide the candlesticks. Clearly you can see we're in a downtrend, forming these lower lows, lower highs. So don't get it too overcomplicated here. Let's bring the candlesticks back on. So basically, for me to take longs, what I really would have to see is we had this resistance level that just formed right here. So this is technically our main point of structure. This is our lower high. I'm just going to bring on the fib back on here. So this 61.8 level, 78 or 70.5, 61.8, same thing. That's what was rejected. So for me to start to take buys, I would have to definitely see a break above this area. And then that's when this whole thing would flip and move to the upside. Now, to the downside, obviously, price overall is in a downtrend. We do have our support level. The only reason I'm even mapping this out right now, again, is because on the weekly, this is how it looks. Weekly, we had this dip down last week, long wick, tested here, and then we have this like doji candle. This is a reversal candle, obviously. So, this is telling me price is starting to slow up. So we could see a reversal. We just don't want to act too fast. A better entry or a solid entry would have actually been to take like a buy once it did dip into this area. But that's a totally different type of trade than we're kind of going over on this session, because this session we're mainly just looking at like structure. So for me to continue with market structure, what I would have to see is we're forming this little level of support at the 38.2. So we started to kind of reverse at this level. This is that retracement. We had this first higher low, we pushed up, now we have this next higher low, and this is all lower time frame stuff right here. If we were to bump down to like the 30-minute, then this would all make a little bit more sense. So let's get down to the 30-minute time frame. 71. Yeah, so 30-minute, let's take this off real quick. So as we can see on the 30-minute time frame, this thing is definitely trending to the upside, was forming these higher highs and higher lows. And now this is where we're currently at. We had this little gap down. So market opens, sellers applied some pressure there. So for me to actually get in on a trade on this, what I would have to see, this is interesting because we already kind of had a break of support here, retested the high, and now we're coming back up to kind of retest it. But basically what we need to see is this thing needs to push to the downside, needs to start forming these lower highs, and kind of sloppy, but the best way to trade this would be to wait for the break of support right there. This would be the safest kind of bet. If we were super confident in a short right now, which I'm not, because price is trading above this level I drew on the higher time frame, then I would just literally take a sell right here if it starts to reject this previous high. But I'm not going to do that. I want to wait till price gets back below this support level that I had drawn on the 4 hour. So let's just bump back up to the 4 hour. That's that support level. So I want to wait for price. Let's just adjust this a little bit to get below that level. And then that's when I'm going to look for sells. Now to the upside, we could certainly start to take buys like right here and then ride them into this. And there's about 300 pips away that previous high, but I'm not too fond of that, just because, and if we even wanted to thrill ourselves and bring on, the trend is clearly bearish, right? Trend is clearly bearish, clearly going to the downside here. forming these lower lows, lower highs. So I want to wait for a little bit more confirmation until I get super bullish on this one. So these are my two trade ideas: wait for the break of support, retest short right there, or wait for the break to the upside. And NU, just looking at it now, is not like too clear for me this week, so it's probably not something I'm going to trade until it moves until like Monday or Tuesday. So let's go to UCAD. Let's go back to DXY for a second. So remember DXY, we are anticipating this thing to come down, to be bearish, right? And if DXY is losing strength, the dollar's losing strength, let's go to UCAD. That means UCAD would most likely continue to the downside. So let's look last week. This is how last week played out. We had our two scenarios. Price opened up right in this area. What is it? 10th, so 3rd. What was last Sunday? The date of last Sunday? 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 1st. Oh yeah, right here. So this is where it opened up. And we were saying that we bump up to the weekly. Weekly is in this bullish trend, right? But we had this double rejection of the high right here and this bearish engulfing candle. But we did have this doji. So that was kind of like, okay, we are finding some support there. Then as we came down to the 4 hour, it was pretty much make or break right here. Either we were going to find support in this area again and then push to the upside and take the buy right there, or price was just going to make that lower high and then just push to the downside. Obviously, price just made this lower high, ended up breaking support. Once it broke support, broke the red zone, that's when we were selling. We had this first sell right here, and then price actually came back up, and then the second kind of sell right there, and then price pushed dramatically. So let's just zoom out where we're at. Let's delete some of this stuff up. Let's come to this weekly time frame and see where the hell we're at. So first thing I'm kind of noticing here is this is definitely a key level right here. The reason that I say that is because we had this previous support, resistance, support, and price is now right at that level right here. So this is a support zone that price is currently testing. Yeah, last week closed, no bearish, no wick or anything, just super bearish. So it's not showing us any signs of reversal. Coming down to the 4 hour, it's kind of is nothing too crazy, but this pattern to me is definitely like some sort of reversal combination of the wick. We have this low volume candle. This candle, we'll see how it kind of closes here, if it can really break through. So pretty much we're not going to continue to take sells on this unless we break below this massive support level. And we could just look at this exclusively on the 4 hour. Now, if we come down to the 30-minute, it's going to be very simple. 30-minute time frame. If this thing breaks the resistance, we're going to start to get a nice retracement back up into this zone. So this is what the trade idea on this one would actually be. We'd have to have a clear break to the upside. Targets would be around 49 pips, and we obviously put our stops at least 2 to 1, right? At least here, you know, or depending how this all forms, maybe we can put them a little closer and have it at 4 to 1. But this is definitely the trade idea. So this is kind of trade idea number 2, and then this would be trade idea number 1, just because we are already pretty much bearish. So let's see here. So we're already pretty much bearish. So if we get that break, you know, where's our targets to the downside? Let's just go back up and kind of see. Yeah, if this thing breaks out, it's gonna definitely have some room to fall here. This would kind of be the next low. I'm looking at this support level, all this area, resistance. Let's just shoot back down. So that would be kind of our TP1, be about 26 pips. So nothing crazy, but we'd have to have a clear break here and then move, you know, back to retest this, which I don't think is going to happen. I think price is slowing up at the support. We've reversed this level before. So I am kind of looking for price to snap up to the upside and then move back into this previous level. We'll see what happens. I have a trade mapped out on this, so I'm going to move this one up the watch list. Obviously, we have this one, which potentially we're already in, but I'm going to wait just because literally doing this live right now. So I'm going to wait on this one, but this is one we have mapped out. NU going to be more patient on, and then GJ. So GJ last week, this was sort of the trade idea. So let's go back to market open. So market open last week, as you can see, I do have a trend line on this one, so it's kind of clear as day here that this thing is descending. Let's go to the weekly. So last week we had this spinning top candle here, this long wick to the downside. So although this is very bearish on the lower time frame, we're just getting a ton of rejection from this lower level. We have support here, obviously support all along this area as well. So as we came down to the 4 hour, this was pretty much our two scenarios. We were either going to take sells here, which I didn't love just because we already dipped down twice with that wick. So to take a sell there, pretty much what we wanted to see was this candle, which closed bullish. We would have wanted to see that one close bearish. We had this combination right here, which does not do anything for us. Let's go ahead and make this yellow. So this is not like a bearish engulfing or anything. This is pretty much, it is a bearish candle, but it doesn't show us that lower time frame structure is breaking at all, right? It's just showing us that sellers are stepping in. Then we had this candle, cool reversal candle, great, but again, no break on the lower time frame. Then we had another doji to the downside, so buyers are starting to step in, can't push down any lower. Then we have this bullish candle. Then we have the break. So once this breaks, we shouldn't be looking for sells anymore. This is strictly now buys, and we're looking for the break and the retest. And as you can see here, price came down. We had the retest, so that wick, you know, this could have potentially been a signal right there where price went up. And then we came back down again, retested, and then price is now to the upside. So we're out as we move up to the weekly. As you can see, that weekly candle, very bullish right there. And even this 4 hour trend line is now broken. So overall, like everything, momentum, everything is broken on GJ, which is not a bad thing. So let me just shoot up to the weekly time frame and kind of get an overall look where we're at. So we just broke this right here, this previous lower high. Now we're retesting this area. So GJ could be in for a retest. You know, we would want it to actually retest that zone. That would be the best case scenario. Look how overextended it is right now. We don't want to take buys up here. That's just kind of stupid. We definitely want price to come back and form some sort of structure. And we'll just zoom out and just make more sense of this. We can see, boom, that was that first higher low. And then now price is all the way up here. We need something to happen. We need some sort of break back down to the downside. Ideally, to retest this area, we could only retest up to here. But there's nothing I can do. I can't map out a trade right now unless I was like trying to short it, which is just counter trend trading, which I'm not going to do. So yeah, GJ, no trades on this one right now. So kind of just going to leave this one, and then we'll come back to it once this actually starts to form some like rejection. Let's go over to BTC. So BTC is interesting because last week I was actually looking at, I mean, obviously BTC has been extremely bullish. Last week just went crazy and broke back to the upside. Now we're all the way at like 55. But I was expecting price to show some rejection of like the 50 level of the 51, but it actually didn't. If we come down to the 4 hour and just go back to last week, this is where we were. Oh wait, no.
BTC is a nice little rally.
I forgot this thing doesn't close. So this is like where we were last week. So we were looking for basically either price to reject this level, which as you can see did not happen. And then this went bullish. Look for the retest there. Never got a retest. And then thing just freaking went to the upside. So there was really no play on BTC once it kind of broke out of this. Now this is kind of forming right here. This is not the best structure. It's kind of forming this rising wedge.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is actually looking really good. Because that's not necessarily what you guys want to see for after a break. You know, if this was a flag and then it was getting a higher low right above 51, you know, that'd be nice. But this definitely signals what Angela's drawing right now. Definitely seeing room for it to fall a little bit and test that level.
Yeah, so BTC definitely had a nice push, but this is not bullish like continuation structure. Needs to kind of make a correction here. Probably is going to dip down into 51. If this just continues higher, I mean, it's just not obeying TA. like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it if it just continues higher, but don't, you know, try to take buys just based on whatever. There's really no signal to buy. It's telling us that price is losing strength to the upside, failing to push to the upside, and then, you know, normally rising wedge pattern, we're going to see kind of a break and retest to the downside. Now, if we just zoom out, obviously now we have to draw kind of another key level here because we broke above this previous one. And it's pretty simple, guys. Just the previous high. Let's see if we can get the same color. Here we go. So just the previous high at about 60, 59, 60 level. So what would be nice is getting the retest of this area so that price kind of find that new floor and then just move to the upside. So we'll see on BTC. TA wise, there's no real trade besides this short opportunity. So if price manages to break below this 54,400 level, then we could look for the retest. And then this is really what this trade will look like. So I'll map this out. Obviously, we're going to be targeting this previous higher high, and then we want to at least get a 2-to-1. So this would be our trade idea on BTC. If it does break to the downside, certainly can just continue to go to the upside. You know, obviously this has to break support before we even consider that, but that's BTC. And then I'm going to cover next Stellar. So I've been looking at this a little bit. Let's just bump up to the weekly. So we have this huge rejection area at 35 cents right here. Look at last week. Last week I was actually expecting this not to do what it did. I was expecting a little bit more reversal than what happened and ended up just flying to the upside. But we're back in a key level. So when we're in a level, guys, on the weekly time frame, that is what we call like a key level. That's how we teach it. This is really when we're looking for those reversals. We're looking for price to find resistance or support. And look how this thing closed last week. Came up, huge wick. It tested all the way up to 37 and then came down and found rejection here. So I am expecting reversal at this area. This is a resistance level coming down to the 4-hour time frame. It's already starting to break down. If we were to bring on a trend line here, we can clearly see prices breaking trend right now, losing that bullish momentum. We just broke below this, and kind of just quite simply, this is literally like if we were to teach a lesson in what market structure is, this is what we would show you guys. This is very clear right now. So I'm just going to map this out so you guys can kind of see this, especially if you're beginners. So let's just go ahead and take these candlesticks off right here. So we have, this is a higher low. This is a higher high. This is a higher low. This is a retest of the high. Then we have this higher low form, pushes all the way up. Next higher low right here. Then we have a lower high. Now, whenever we get a break, so this is an uptrend, obviously, and then uptrends do this. right? And then once it does this, where we have a break, we're always looking to sell on this first lower high right here. So this is exactly what we're looking at right now. Now, if we were to bring the candlesticks back on, we are waiting to see what happens here. So price has broken, so this is broken, but we need this next candle to close below. If this candle dojis, that's kind of just nothing that I'm going to pay attention to. I'm going to wait for the following candle. If the following candle shoots all the way up and is bullish, that kind of tells me support is held. This thing's going to push to the upside. If the following candle closes bearish, this thing is then officially broken. And what we're going to look for, do that wrong. What we're going to look for is exactly this down here. We're going to look for price to come up, retest the support turn resistance, and then that's when we're going to start selling this thing to the downside. So I am anticipating this thing to reverse and then to retest. And then this is pretty much what the trade would look like once it did actually do this. We could target this level first, then we could target down here. So maybe that'll be ultimately our target. And remember, we're always trying to do at least a 2-to-1 risk reward. So this is kind of what the risk reward would be. But again, we got to see how that candle closes right there. But that's my idea on Stellar. So that's all the pairs that I'm going to go over for today. Stellar, BTC, GJ, NU, GU, and then UCAT. So I'll post this up in the chat after this. Again, little delayed today, but for you guys that have already checked out the chat, Nick has posted all of his analysis. So I'm just pull it up here. Oh, Nick has already posted all of his ideas on TradingView. We go ahead and publish them, guys. So you can go on, click on this, and then during the week you can hit there's like a play button. You can hit that, see how things are actually playing out live. As you can see, these are all Nick's analysis. So run through this, take a look, compare your ideas. Like we said, use this to your benefit. It's completely free, and it's only, again, to help you guys out during the week. A lot of updates coming this week. I'm gonna actually be posting a little video kind of after this, going over some things. But for all you guys, your new guys that hopped on, welcome. Obviously to Forex League, to the community. If you got any questions, just hit us up. And as always, we'll be back. Every week we do the Sunday market blitz. I don't think this week we did an analysis review, but every week we normally post like a review of all the trades that are coming out. Some weeks we get a little too busy, and can't do it, but for the most part, we get everything out there, out there for you guys, and we're here.
Yeah. If you guys need us, hit us up on Discord. Be active in the community as well. But yeah, as Angela was saying, I think this is actually the first week we didn't do a review since we started. But yeah, sometimes you get a little busy, a little pushed back. But yeah, that's normally what we do. We'll review on Friday, as well as the rapid signals. We put videos out, review videos for that as well.
Yeah, no, we've been focusing on the rapid signals more. We've definitely gotten people having good results in there, some people not having so great results. It all comes down to, there are a lot of pairs being posted, a lot of trade ideas in here. The reason we're doing that is because people are all over the world. People are trading during all different times. So we want to make sure there's trades that are being given during every single session. My kind of advice for the rapid signals, and this is from some people that have also had success in my own testing of it, is focus on a few pairs that are being posted in here. Maybe they're just Forex pairs, maybe they're indices, maybe it's crypto, maybe it's gold, and then stick to trading those pairs and manage those. Don't try to take 100 trades from the rapid signals throughout the week, and then you're managing all the trades and mismanaging them. Because I think a lot of the people that lose money, you're really just mismanaging the trades. People that use the right lot size, use risk a certain percentage per trade, and then actually move their stop loss to break even, definitely are making money with the rapid signals. So we posted a video yesterday. One of the members wanted to do a testimonial of, he made $1,000 with the signals, which is cool. So definitely check that out if you guys haven't seen it yet. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the week. I know we got some of the regular people in here. Stick to it. People that are taking the funded trader challenges, stay disciplined. I know last week a lot of people were failing on like NFP and stuff, and people that are failing are just not using stop losses, guys. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Obviously, if you don't have a winning strategy, that's also huge downfall as well.
Yeah,
but
absolutely, guys. So yeah, stay at it, right? Like, stay at it, guys. Hit us up if you guys need help. We're here. That's what these resources are for. But yeah, be well for the most part. Have a good week, guys.
200K. Yeah, Darren, best of luck. And Johnny, we'll talk more soon, man. Bye, everybody. Peace out.
Peace, guys.